So we've got the T6s on now. Over to Captain Jim Hickey.
Thank you, Brownie. Well, folks, we go from the silent, serene, and magnificent to the raucous, rowdy, and real clever. Good flyers, top former military pilots flying out Harvard, the original T6 made by North America, USA, the go-to World War II advanced primary military training, USA, UK, and the Commonwealth, which of course includes us. Ship loop called a Vic loop for obvious reasons. Look at that precision. Followed by a steep descending left turn for a belly up pass in Vic style. Characteristic snarl as the prop tips break the sound barrier. John Kelly is flying Harvard 78, the yellow one. Liz Needham, Harvard 57. The only aviatrix in the world flying a Mark 14 Spitfire, so how's that for pedigree? Dean Beverly in 1052 and Frank Parker, the ace, who also flies the Fuck Wolf out of Wanaka, flying Harvard number 98. Frank learned to fly Harvards in the Air Force. He spent 50 years flying this aeroplane, this type, and these are all the aeroplanes we inherited back in 1941 as a primary trainer, and they're still with us thanks to the New Zealand Warbirds Roaring 40s. Here's the steep descending left turn for a belly up pass. Great photo opportunity against that crystal clear sky. Beautiful big Pratt & Whitney that Grant mentioned before, 600 horsepower. Number 5 breaks out of the formation for a wing over right and pulls up what we call a Humpty Bump. The leader, as I said before, Frank Parker, flying Harvard 98. Learned in the 1970s to fly, and he's still flying one. He is the husband of Liz, the aforementioned Spitfire pilot. Many, many years in the Roaring 40s. Beautiful reverse Frank's also owned the P40 Kitty Hawk, which I've just sold, together with wife Liz, of course. He's rated Corsair. You'll see him flying the Corsair this afternoon, the Trojan. He flies the P40 and rated the Spitfire and many, many other aircraft. Now as Frank comes through, if you look out the opposite direction, you'll see the formation of 4 changes to line astern. Pull up for a right wing over. Frank does a lovely bit. I'm sorry, a little wrong. Makes some stage right. Just above him, the foreship. Up they go for a right wing over, echelon left into position for what we call a Z loop. Meantime, Frank behind us, getting ready, enter from behind the crowd, folks. You pull up for a lovely stall turn to the left, stand by for that. Liz need an amazing 25,000 hours flying, a New Zealand Boeing captain. Established the Ardmore Flying School. Flight Harvards for many, many years. John Kelly also 16 years in the 40s. turn to the left, and then downwards roll through 90 degrees and pulls up for a half Cuban. Watch for the stall turn. Setting the aircraft up beautifully, virtually stalled as it should do. Perfection, of course. Military trained pilot. Approaching the world record, as I said, 50 years flying this aircraft. Up he goes, over for the half Cuban. And up again, over for the barrel roll. Beautiful. Hang time, the 4 ships coming in right behind you, folks. Diamond loop, cross the line, and they'll turn right for a steep descending turn. Well, we've got your attention. One of the great Warbird characters of the years. He used to fly the Corsair. Keith Skilling is here as our guest today. So good to see him again. I believe that he and former veteran Ace Edwards will be flying Harvard number 98 for the mock attack on the airport later on. And together, I'm told again that the total flying hours, 98, as in the number of the aircraft. Correction, 98 years. Keith Skilling and Ace Edwards flying Harvards for 98 years. We'll see them in Harvard 98 for the mock attack at the end of the show. So something to look forward to. The 4 ship again. Smoke on, smoke off, and there's Frank coming out of your left shoulder here, folks. Smoke on, pull up for a loop on the 45. He's flying the aeroplane beautifully, isn't he? Up she goes, the big Pratt & Whitney, the big radial pumping away there, 600 plus horsepower, comfortably over the top. And he'll reposition for what we call a dairy turn, which we saw earlier on with the 2 military pilots flying the Yaks. Just watch the aircraft here now. Hooks around to the left. Frank's final manoeuvre will be back along the line for a barrel roll in front of the crowd before vacating left. Barrel roll, of course, a combination of a loop and an aileron roll. Twitches the airplane, gently rolls it over the top to the horizontal, gentle roll out of it. Finally, if you look straight ahead, we've got the 4 ship coming in for their final run, people, and something very special, always a crowd favourite. The diamond formation, what we call a downward bomb burst. One of the signature moves of the T6 Harvard team, the Warbirds boys. Watch what they do. Up for a loop. And on the way down again, the T6 Warbirds, roaring 40s. There's the downward burst, the downward bomb burst. And away.
It's like an octopus.
Well, it's not called the Planet Maker for nothing. Beautiful aeroplane. Once you graduated from one of these back in 1940, 41, 42, you moved into what you're seeing at the right-hand end of the runway, either a Spitfire or a P-51 Mustang. Not so much in New Zealand, but later on certainly. A Hurricane, Corsair, P-40 Kitty Hawk. The Pilot Maker is the aircraft you've just seen. If you do the goods on that, you can fly one of these. We're going to hand over to Kate Bint in just a moment, because this is the beginning of the renowned, the magnificent Heritage Flight, which includes the newly restored, newly resurrected Mustang. Came to New Zealand brand new in a box, and has stayed with us ever since, right at the end of the war. And the magnificent Spitfire, dressed in a tribute to Air Commodore Wing Commander Al Dare, the nephew of which owns and has restored this beautiful aeroplane. You take it. Stand corrected, I'm rushing things a bit. We've got the F16s before these guys. They're just going to go away and reposition for later on. But there it is. Al Dare, while it's going past, on the livery of Al Dare, if you had a rank of Wing Commander, you could put your initials on the plane. That is a combat veteran, 111 Squadron RAF in the Mediterranean. Beautiful aircraft owned and resurrected by Brendan Dare. And this one, the latest find, the barn find of all time from the John Smith collection, the genuine World War II P-51D Mustang, NZ2423. More about that later. We'll hand back to Kate in the meantime, because we've got some more heavy metal coming up for you shortly. I'm not talking about music, nor am I talking about the two women.
And unfortunately it's not my heavy metal either, but it's our Pacific partners. So we've got the most amazing part of the display coming up with the F16 crew, who've got this fantastic commentary crew with them, so we'll hand over to them shortly. But in the meantime, Shannon and I are just here to give you a little bit of an idea of what's coming up next from the United States Air Force.
That's right, Kate. Thank you so much. Hello again, everyone. Soon, you're going to see the U.S. Air Force F-16 demo. And in addition to that, something that lengthens its profile is the U.S. Air Force KC-135. It's an incredible tanker asset that does extend the range, and it enables them to do even more incredible things. So you'll get to see both of those aircraft just here shortly.
So that's a really unusual thing for us at the air show, to see an aircraft that's not actually part of the flying display but is in support of the aircraft that are, what makes it happen. And there, we're lucky enough to have them fly through our overhead. Hopefully close enough so you guys will be able to get some cameras on them. Well, we know the F-16s are on station. What they're doing is just waiting for their display time now, making sure they're in the right position. And we think they'll be approaching from the right-hand side, guys, so make sure that you look up there. I know that Grant and Jim mentioned our C-130 had been doing some additional flights while we're here today. It's one of the ongoing pleasures of the New Zealand Defence Force to support any organisations that need it in New Zealand. The Make-A-Wish Foundation, the New Zealand Cadet Forces. It's been a real pleasure to be able to have them on board and take them for some flights around our beautiful country this afternoon. And we're hoping to extend that favour also to our partner air forces later on today.
Thank you so much, Kate. And one of the great things I found out about your cadets that you had mentioned just now is we in the U.S. have the Civil Air Patrol, and in essence our countries do an exchange, so they'll actually, our cadets from the U.S. will get to come over and see beautiful New Zealand, it sounds like this summer.
Funny you should mention that, because actually back in 1993 I moved over to the States and joined the Civil Air Patrol when I was a member of the Royal the Air Training Corps in the UK. So I know firsthand what an amazing experience that is, and I'd really encourage all young people out there to have a look into the Cadet Forces. It opens up huge amounts of opportunities and doors for you. Okay, there we have Spitfire. Behind them, and they will hold off so that they can take part in a display for us after our American partners. And here's Sean in the P-51.
your narrator, Technical Sergeant Matthew Cronick, call sign Jaws, from the greatest city in the world, Los Angeles, California. As a member of the Pacific Air Force's 35th Fighter Wing, all the way from the South Air Base in Japan, it's my pleasure to describe for you today's flight demonstration by the world's greatest single-seat, single-engine, multi-role fighter, the F-16 Fighting Falcon. The pilot for today's demonstration is Captain Ethan Smith, call sign Banner, from Kansas City, Missouri. Captain Smith is a veteran fighter pilot with more than 500 hours of jet aircraft. The safety observer for today's demonstration is F-16 fighter pilot Captain Ryan Hughes, call sign ATAC. Demonstrating its exceptional rolling maneuverability. And dogfight the ability to turn tightly is crucial. Watch now as Captain Smith shows you just how exceptional the F-16 is in a 9G turn. Ladies and gentlemen, from your left. As Captain Smith approaches Shield Center, he will demonstrate the Fighting Falcon's ability to maneuver tightly and stay unpredictable. Ladies and gentlemen, the Falcon. slow speed control is just as important to those who fly. As Captain Smith approaches show center, he will fly full afterburner and accelerate the aircraft into a near vertical climb. Smith is now setting up for a maximum performance climb with a series of aileron rolls. As he pulls back on the stick, you'll see the F-16's exceptional power and rolling capability as he climbs from 300 feet to more than 15,000 feet. Captain Smith is now repositioning his F-16 behind to the left to set up for the dedication pass. Captain Smith and the rest of the Pacific Air Force's F-16 demonstration team from the 35th Fighter Wing wish to dedicate this pass to all those men and women from all branches of the U.S. Armed Forces and its allies who are really fighting around the world who have lost their lives while defending freedom.
We've come a long way from where we began. I know we love to hit the road and laugh, but something told me that it wouldn't last. Had to
Captain Smith is now on his way back to Christchurch. As he approaches the runway there, he will decelerate to about 150 miles per hour, enabling the F-16 to stop in less than 3,000 feet if necessary. Add its ability to take off from relatively short runways, and you have a fighter that can operate from thousands of airfields in virtually every country in the world. While today's demonstration shows you how well the F-16 can maneuver in combat, what we cannot show you is its striking power. The Viper can hit targets well outside of visual range while flying faster than the speed of sound. Add the superb view provided by its bubble canopy, and for 50 years you've had the greatest fighter jet the world has ever seen. On behalf of the 35th Fighter Wing's Wild Weasels and the Commander of the Pacific Air Forces, General Kevin B. Schneider, we thank you for being with us today. If you have any questions about this outstanding aircraft or the United States Air Force, please feel free to stop by our booth and find either myself or any of our maintenance professionals. If you'd like to see what we do around the globe, you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at PACAF Viper Demo. We would also like to say thank you to each and every one of you for being with us here today, and enjoy the rest of the show.
Oh, massive round of applause, ladies and gents, for our partners, the United States Air Force. And I'd like to say a very particular thank you to the team that are here on the ground from the F-16 display crew. Captain Ryan ATAC Hughes, the safety observer. Tech Sergeant Matthew Jaws Chronic for that wonderful, wonderful commentary he just had us with, the Assistant Superintendent and the announcer. We've got Staff Sergeant Lucas Brew-Haas, he's the lead crew chief. Senior Air Crewman Brianna Blur-Bolfing with Public Affairs, and I know she has been really enjoying taking all the photos. Guys, if you see them around in their black flying suits, they would absolutely love to have a chat with you and tell you all the fun they've had in their 2 years with the display crew. Thanks again, guys.